What's good, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Mini Logic. It's Zeno here, and in today's episode we're going to continue rounding up the Champions League fixtures. Now this week there was a fresh batch, second round of fixtures, and those four games were on Tuesday. We had Chelsea, Lille and Villarreal Juventus, and then after that on Wednesday we then had Atletico Madrid, Manchester United and Benfica, Ajax. Now, Chelsea versus Lille was a game where maybe we all had an idea of who was probably going to come out on top, and so far it's proven to be just the case. Chelsea have shown that they're the better team so far. Now, the first leg was pretty much how you expected it to be, a professional performance from Chelsea, goals from Havertz and Pulisic. Now, Lille did have a lot of shots, and some players like Renato Sanchez did impress for Lille. But obviously, you can see they kind of lack the quality, which is weird to say for a team that won the French league, but it's the truth really, and you can't really deny it. And even although we can't rule them out for the second leg and all that kind of stuff, that performance, you can have an idea where it's going to go. Second leg, Chelsea will implement their control most likely and probably go through to the quarter-finals. As for the other game on Tuesday though, Villarreal Juventus, that's a game finally in the balance. Now, it ended 1-1. Dusan Vlahovic, 32 seconds into his debut in the Champions League, scored a sharp finish with his weaker right foot. And, you know, good for his confidence, good for Juve, but they weren't able to build on it. And late in the second half, Villarreal continued to pack the pressure on, and Danny Parejo managed to get them a well-deserved goal, really. Obviously, it's quite criminal how, I forgot who it was for Juve, Rabiot I think it was, didn't follow the run of Parejo, but it was an excellent run, and it was a decent enough finish. It was slightly mishit, but we can give him that. Overall, based on the balance of play, it's what they deserved, and a 1-1 draw is fine. Juve now have to, you know, try and finish it off at the Juventus Stadium, Alliance Stadium, and hopefully go through. But Villarreal have proven, you know, Europa League winners last season, right? Yeah. So they want to prove themselves in the premier European competition, or to prove themselves in the second most premier competition in Europe. And they're a very good, well-drilled team. You know, Emery's men play some good football, and obviously we all know about the threat of players like Samuel Chukwueze and Arnau Danjuma. But Juventus should win the second leg. They are the better squad of players, but maybe Villarreal are the better team. We all know that Juve had a tough season. But yeah, then we move on to Wednesday's games. Atletico Manchester United, maybe that was the game out of the four that were played this week that maybe created the most hype. It ended 1-1. João Felix scored after 7 minutes with a beautiful diving header. And Atletico dominated the first half. They should have scored more. They hit the bar, I believe. Deflection of Lindelof from the Schalke's header. Maybe they should have been in more control than what they were. And you know how it is, even with a team like Manchester United. I said this last week with some certain teams, Bayern Munich, for example. If you leave the door open, for a decent side to come back into the game, it might just happen. And unfortunately for Atletico Madrid, who have blown hot and cold this season, along with Manchester United, they left the door open, and Anthony Elanga, well, he went through the door, didn't he? And he scored a beautiful goal. Beautiful slotted finish, you know, nice and simple. Obviously, for some reason, the commentator was berating All Blacks' positioning, and maybe he should have been better positioned to save the goal. But what can you do? United ended up getting a good result, and you could say they almost, you know, not smash and grab, but they kind of stole that result, even though they really did improve in the second half. And as the game really went on, they got stronger and stronger. And Atletico Madrid, you know, naturally a defensive team, weren't able to turn the tide and get the game back into their favour, really, and keep the game under wraps and under control. I personally think Suarez should have played. That gives them a real goal-scoring threat on the pitch. Yeah, Felix played well. Felix scored. But it would have been nice if they had a partner there. Like, I think they played Correa instead, and I don't know. But point being is, having Suarez there, I believe he was the top scorer this season. That would have allowed them maybe to, you know, maybe score another goal in that command. I'm just stating hypotheticals here, right? Nonetheless, it ends 1-1. advantage United because now they go to Old Trafford and now it's up to them to try and finish off the job. But with Atletico Madrid, you don't know what you're quite going to get. And to be honest, the same with United. Now moving on to the final game. The final game of this week's round of Champions League fixtures, we had Benfica Ajax, which was probably the most entertaining game of the round so far. Now, I believe, Ajax came out the gate strongly. They played, the first half, Benfica weren't so great. Recently, their form has not been great in the league and other competitions, which led to the sacking of Jorge Jesus, who was then replaced by Mr. Verissimo. And literally, their team trying to get back their form, the form that saw them, destroy Barcelona at their Estadio de Luz in the group stages. And, well, in the second half, they sure did recapture that form, but that wasn't until after Ajax scored, Dusan Tadic, and then Haller turned the ball into his own net for the equaliser, and then Ajax took the lead again in the first half via Haller. His 11th goal of the Champions League. He's having a sensational campaign and he's banging in the goals for fun that he thought might as well score one for the other team as well. You know what I mean? Nonetheless, second half, Benfica put the heart and soul into the second half and they really tried to get the equaliser. And they managed to get the equaliser. Roman Yaremchuk, of course, his celebration was a tribute to Ukraine, due to the events, as we all know, that's happening, unfortunately, over there. And you could say it was definitely a well-deserved point. Two teams are very equal in terms of their history, their heritage, and maybe you could even say current financial position in their respective leagues. Very evenly balanced tie, and I can't tell you who's going to go through, even though Ajax will have home advantage in the second leg. But we'll have to just wait and see. That's the beauty of football. But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for listening and watching part 2 of the Champions League roundups. Be sure to tune in for part 3 next week. I hope to upload it a bit earlier because I feel like uploading on a Saturday is a bit weird because the Premier League games and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully upload will be up by Friday, fingers crossed. But thank you all. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're on the YouTube, and be sure to follow the podcast if you're listening on any podcast platforms. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
Mini Laje.